What if the most dangerous person in your life isn't the person who hates you? What if it's the person who gives you just enough affection to make you forget they're even starving you?
You're special. So if you prove me right and execute the gun devil, you may tell me any wish you have, and I'll ensure that it comes true.
That's what makes someone like Makima so terrifying. She didn't just control Denji with power, she controlled him with hope. People like her are dangerous because they rarely look like enemies. Sometimes they look like the answers to our prayers. So why do we chase people who can't love us? But more importantly, how do we stop?
Is that something you think you can demonstrate?
I'm Justin Trinity, and welcome to Midnight Sanctuary, a home created for who we are and who we're becoming. Now let's continue. Is it love or is it control? Growing up, many of us were never taught the difference. Because when you've never been shown what healthy love looks like, it becomes easy to mistake attention for affection, intensity for intimacy, and crumbs for a feast. Denji was no exception. He grew up buried under massive amounts of debt he inherited from his father, and the only people around him weren't protecting him, they were using him. So Denji's weakness wasn't Makima, it wasn't even love. His weakness was that his life never taught him the difference between being cared for and being kept.
When I do cop some Z's, I know what dream I want to have. Gonna put jam on all my bread and split every piece with you. Then I'll lay on the charm and flirt with a girl. We'll spend the night playing video games together and hug each other as we doze off.
Denji's dream wasn't extravagant. Denji's dream was to live a normal life. And for many of us, one of the deepest signals of a normal life is being loved. But what happens when that hole inside of us is empty for so long? What happens when we're starving for the things every human needs? Makima happens. Someone who has all the answers, all the right things to say.
Listen, Denji. I believe that when it comes to sexual matters, the better you understand your partner, the better you'll feel. Remember this so that even if you lost your vision, you'd still recognize me. Just from how hard I fight. Memorize it.
But what I need you to memorize is this. Just because someone claims to know you doesn't mean they truly know you. And just because someone gives you what you want, that doesn't mean they want you. There's a difference between love that feeds you and love that only feeds you in order to feed themselves.
Denji, dear, there's a favor I'd like to ask.
So this is where control becomes dangerous, because once someone learns what you're starving for, they can make the leash feel like love. And to be honest, at times I've struggled to know the difference. I wanted to be liked so badly, to be chosen, to be useful, to prove how much love I had to give. But what I was doing was overlooking the very thing I was afraid to admit, which was that they didn't see me for who I was. They saw me for what I could do for them, for what they could take from me while reciprocating the bare minimum. And even though I knew better, it still hurt. Denji, on the other hand, lacked any positive reference points for his self-esteem and what he deserved. So the moment he was finally free of the leash the mob had on him, Makima arrived just in time to put another one on him.
Make a mental note, Denji.
Huh?
You have agreed to become my pet, so you're officially under my care now. Which means woof or yes are all you say. Things like no don't come out of my dogs.
See, Makima didn't have to convince Denji he was powerless. All she had to do was convince him that her approval was the only place he could finally be loved. Which is why the most addictive control doesn't feel like control. It feels like being chosen. That's why there's no shame in admitting the truth. The truth is, we were never only chasing them to begin with. We were also chasing the version of ourselves we feel like when someone rewards us. The version we believe is good enough. The version that felt desired. The version that finally felt seen. But with the wrong people, that's where we start selling ourselves short. Because when someone only loves the version of you that obeys, they don't love you. They love your compliance.
Here, say
So then the question becomes, How do we come back home to ourselves after we've spent so long trying to become lovable to someone who only knew how to use us? So first things first, we have to break the spell. Not by pretending we never wanted them, not by shaming ourselves for caring, but by finally seeing the pattern for what it was. Most of the time, we weren't chasing the person. We were chasing proof. Proof that we were lovable.
Do you think I have a heart?
Why ask me that, don't you know?
Proof that we were enough. Proof that if someone like them finally chose us, then maybe it would undo every moment we felt unwanted. But that's the trap, which is why no one else's approval can undo the self-worth we keep abandoning in order to earn that proof. It's time you stop chasing the illusion of them and began owning the truth of you.
I'm not saying the two of you have to become best friends, only that you can use him for your own benefit.
There will always be people who are willing to use you for their desires. There will always be someone who doesn't see you as a human being to be loved, but instead as a means to an end. Don't settle for someone who only knows how to hold your heart when it benefits them. Your self-worth has to become non-negotiable. Because the more you treat yourself as someone who is worth protecting, the easier it becomes to tell the difference between who is able to meet you as an equal and someone who is never really seeing you at all. Real love will never require you to abandon yourself in order to be chosen. But whether it's love or control, the only thing that is in your control is the foundation of love you're willing to cultivate within yourself. And once that foundation is real, you stop mistaking crumbs for a feast. You stop confusing being needed with being loved. And you stop chasing people who were only ever teaching you how badly you needed to come back home to yourself.